With the Atlanta Hawks winning their play-in game versus the Cleveland Cavaliers, we now know what the 1v8 matchup will be in this year's Eastern Conference first round. Number 1 seed Miami Heat will face the number 8 seed Atlanta Hawks. For being obvious, it's pretty obvious that the Hawks are not your regular 8 seed. They're not crazy underdogs, so crazy to the level that we expect them to get swept. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing why I think they will win the series. First, I'm going to talk about Miami and their chances to win. Then I'm going to talk about the Atlanta Hawks chances. Then at the end of the video, I'm going to come to a conclusion on who I think will win and in how many games. Before we get into the video, I ask you to drop a like on this video as it does help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want daily NBA content. Also, if you want to reach my goal of 3,000 subscribers, also drop a comment on this video as I do respond to all of my comments. And play that intro. Talk about the Miami Heat side first. The key for them in a series like this definitely has to be their defense, because when you're versing the Atlanta Hawks, they are one of the best offenses in the league. Trae Young is an offensive superstar, and you combine that with the crazy amount of good shooters they have, that's a pretty hard offense to guard. But I actually think the Miami Heat are definitely equipped to defend them well. Obviously, Miami's going to throw some double teams at Trae Young, and I think that's the right decision. They should try to make the Atlanta Hawks role players beat them, because we saw in that Cavs game, once you let Trae Young do his thing one-on-one, he's nearly impossible to stop. But if any teams are like able to lock down this Hawks offense, Miami's definitely one of them, because Miami was a top 5 defense this season. And we just look at Miami's roster, they have a bunch of defenders who can defend Trae Young and do a solid job. Guys like Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, Gabe Vincent, and Caleb Martin are all capable of defending Trae Young at a solid level. I don't think anyone could guard Trae Young and absolutely lock him down one-on-one, but they can all do a solid job, and that's just better than most teams, for being honest. He will definitely be capable of doing double teams because they have a center in Bam Adebayo, who in my opinion is the most versatile defender in the league. He's definitely able to go out and close out to shooters and step up in the pick and roll. Also, you have to realize that Miami has Eric Spoelstra as their coach, and he's one of the best coaches in the league, so he's probably going to make a really tough defensive scheme for Trae Young. Offense is really important for the Heat in the series as well, because as I said, the Hawks are one of the best offensive teams in the NBA. If the Hawks are just shooting on fire from 3, it will be really hard to beat them if Miami's not retaliating on offense. But in the regular season, Miami had an average to below average offense in the league, and that simply has to be better. We know they're capable of being better on offense. They have the talent, they just have to do it. But a guy like Jimmy Butler is someone who I think is going to ball out in this series. We all know how he was regarded as one of the best playoff performers in the league. Then last year was just terrible against the Bucks. He got outscored by Bryn Forbes, and I think against this terrible Hawks defense, not terrible Hawks defense, but not great Hawks defense, he's going to redeem himself. Also, they have Kyle Lowry, who was known as a playoff choker before, but after he had that run with Kawhi in 2019, I think he's become a really good playoff performer since then. Then they have Tyler Hero coming off the bench. He's going to be huge for them in the playoffs. He's basically their best scorer. If he continues to be that off the bench, that would be huge. If the Hawks are going to be missing Clint Capella, I would expect Bam Adebayo to be way more aggressive. Then shooters like Duncan Robinson, who has been crazy inconsistent, he definitely has to step up. Gabe Vincent has to step up, hit some shots. Max Strus can hit some shots. So can PJ Tucker. They just gotta hit their shots. I don't know whether or not Victor Oladipo is going to play or not, because their head coach didn't hint to him being in the rotation. But honestly, I think they should play him, especially if Duncan Robinson is not hitting his shots, because Duncan Robinson is not a good defender. Oladipo is actually a guy who can go off the dribble. But overall, I think Miami's offense should be better than it was in the regular season. They're going against the Hawks, who in the regular season statistically were the worst defense out of any team that's in the playoffs right now. But I'm not going to lie, against that Cavs team, when the Hawks really turned on their defense, they were actually really, really good. But now they're going to be missing Clint Capella, which means the basket will be a little bit more open for wide open drives to the basket. But honestly, the key for this series is to try slow down Trae Young as much as you can. Let the other Hawks players on this team try and beat you, because I don't think the Hawks role players are good enough to beat you without Trae Young. Without Trae Young going off. I know Trae is hard to guard, but if any team is able to slow him down, it is the Miami Heat. To next talk about the Atlanta Hawks. if I'm being honest, the key for them in a series like this definitely has to be the offensive side of the floor. They're going against Miami, who's one of the best defense in the league. Miami is a team that's filled with a bunch of good defenders, lots of versatile defenders, and honestly, Atlanta's whole offense has basically been built around Trae Young. If they want to win this series, Trae Young is going to have to produce, and straight up, he won't be able to do that unless the other guys on his team step up, because it's obvious that Miami's going to throw double teams at Trae Young, and when he's forced to pass out of those double teams, if other guys are just missing wide open shots, turning the ball over, then Miami's going to be able to continue to do that. But if other guys keep hitting their shots, making the right plays and stuff like that, Miami will be forced to not be able to double team him. Then that will allow Trae to be able to be defending one-on-one, which will just make this offense flow way better. So to be honest, the Hawks role players just have to step up if they want to win this game, this series. And something else that's really important is the Hawks defense, because even though Miami's not like one of the best offenses in the league, you still have multiple guys who can go out there and score, go off on any given night. And before seeing that Cavs game, I would have said that the Hawks could not even have a chance to defend Miami, because in the regular season, the Hawks are one of the 5 worst defenses in the league. But ever since Clint Capella and DeAndre Hunter has returned, their defense has actually looked pretty good at times. But the only bad thing is that Clint Capella probably will not play in most of this series. Maybe he won't play at all. Obviously, that's a huge loss for them. But luckily, Onyeka Okongwu isn't a terrible replacement for Capella. He's a center who can basically do all the things Capella does, just a little bit worse. But overall, he's still a good defensive center, can catch lobs, protect the rim, finish at the rim. I think he's actually their X factor in a series like this. If the Hawks want to win the series, he's going to have to play some really good defense. And if the Hawks want to win the series, other guys have to step up when Miami double teams Trae Young. The Hawks have to shoot better, and they just can't be terrible on defense. But I actually think they have a better chance than most people think. To drop a prediction on who I think will win, I have to go with the Miami Heat. They're the #1 seed for a reason, and honestly, I just think they're a better team than the Atlanta Hawks. I think the series will be actually closer than most 1v8 matchups, but I think the Hawks will be able to push it to 6 games, maybe even 7. But I think Miami's experience, flat out better coaching, and more talent will give them an advantage over the Atlanta Hawks. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video. Let me know whether or not you think the Hawks are going far. Drop a like on this video, allow my channel to grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want daily NBA content. Also, if you want to go over 3,000 subscribers, also drop a comment on this video. I do respond to all of my comments. And play that intro.